February 1959. The Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. A place so cold it steals your breath. So quiet it echoes your own heartbeat. 9 experienced skiers and hikers set out on what should have been a challenging but routine expedition. They were young, strong, students of the Ural Polytechnical Institute, led by the capable Igor Dyatlov. Their goal was to reach Otorten, a mountain whose name in the local Mansi language translates to "Don't go there." They laughed at the warning. They were prepared. They were fearless. But the mountains keep their own secrets. And on the night of February 1st, on the slope of Kolatsiakal, the mountain of the dead, something happened. Something so terrifying that it made these 9 trained mountaineers slash their way out of their own tent from the inside and flee into the minus 30 degrees Celsius night, most without shoes, without proper coats. The tent was suicide. Their footprints, analyzed later, showed they attempted to climb back up towards the tent, towards the possibility of shelter and their waiting supplies. It was a logical decision. But in the deep snow, in the pitch black, with their bodies shutting down, it was an impossible task. They collapsed one by one, overcome by hypothermia's creeping lethargy. Their deaths, while tragic, fit a known pattern of exposure. But for the 4 whose bodies lay deepest in the ravine, Lyudmila Dubinina, Alexander Kolovatov, Nikolai Thibault Brignol, and Semyon Zolotaryov, the story took a violent and inexplicable turn. When the spring melt revealed them, the searchers faced a scene that contradicted everything they thought they knew. These 4 were better dressed than the others. They had used clothing from the first victims. A sensible, if grim, survival tactic. But their injuries were of a different nature entirely. Lyudmila Dubinina had extensive chest fractures and was missing her tongue. The official explanation was scavenging animals, but the condition of the other soft tissues didn't fully support it. Nikolai Thibault Brignol's skull was fractured with a force that would require a significant impact. Most baffling were the chest injuries to Dubinina and Zolotaryov. Their ribs were crushed inward, but the skin was unbroken, and there were no corresponding bruises. It was as if they had been subjected to a massive, sudden pressure wave. Like the shock wave from an explosion, but one that left no burn marks and didn't damage the tent hundreds of meters away. Then came the reports of elevated radioactivity on some of their garments. In the context of the Cold War, in a remote region known for military testing, this detail ignited theories of a hidden catastrophe. Was the group accidental witnesses to a test of a new weapon? Did they stumble upon a crashed aircraft carrying nuclear materials? The government's swift classification of the files only fed these speculations. But the mountains offer older, stranger explanations. The indigenous Mansi people have long steered clear of Kolatsiakal. They speak of the Menk, large, hairy forest dwellers who despise humans. They tell tales of angry mountain spirits. To them, the climbers were outsiders who didn't ask permission, who didn't show respect. And the mountain answered. In the decades since, scientists have proposed natural, if rare, phenomena. One compelling theory is infrasound, low-frequency sound waves generated by specific wind patterns over the mountain pass. These waves are below the range of human hearing, but can trigger feelings of intense dread, anxiety, and even heart palpitations. Could a sudden, powerful burst of infrasound have panic-stricken the entire group, sending them fleeing in a blind, shared terror? Another theory points to a small slab avalanche, a plate of snow breaking off and hitting the tent with enough force to cause the chest injuries, then burying the ravine group, with the snow later melting and refreezing, obscuring the evidence. Yet experienced investigators found no signs of an avalanche. The tent, though cut open, was still standing. The mystery is a labyrinth with no center. Each path, military, natural, supernatural, leads to more questions. Even the group's final photos, when enhanced by modern technology, show ambiguous anomalies in the night sky. Strange, spherical lights that some claim are evidence of a UFO encounter. A force so beyond their understanding that it triggered pure, instinctual flight. Perhaps the truth is a combination. A sudden, terrifying sound or light from a secret test. Interpreted through a lens of primal fear, leading to a disastrous chain of decisions. In the wilderness, the line between a natural event and a supernatural one is thin, drawn by our own perception. One thing remains undeniably true. In their final hours, these 9 individuals faced the ultimate test of survival. They fought the cold. They fought their own fear. And they fought against an unknown adversary they could not see or comprehend. They made choices to run, to turn back, to huddle together, to strip clothing from the dead in a final attempt to live. These were human acts, relatable and heartbreaking. Their story is not just a catalog of strange deaths. It is a testament to the human will to persist, even when faced with the inexplicable. As the long Arctic night gives way to a gray dawn, picture the mountain slope, silent once more. The wind scours the footprints, smoothing the snow into a blank white sheet. The cedar tree stands guard. The tent sags, a lonely wound in the vastness. And the secret, whatever it was, settles back into the permafrost, preserved in ice and time. The Dyatlov Pass does not give up its dead easily, nor does it give up its truth. Their story did not end in that ravine. It echoed through time, becoming a lodestone for mystery seekers, scientists, and storytellers. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation, only to conclude once more that an avalanche was the likely cause. A rare, tragic, but natural disaster. For many, this modern verdict felt like an attempt to lay a final, tidy sheet over a corpse that refuses to be still. It cannot explain the radiation, the missing tongue, the sheer violence of the internal injuries without external marks. It cannot explain the lights in the sky. So, the mystery breathes on. Perhaps that is the true nature of such places. The wilderness is not just a collection of trees and rocks and snow. It is a living entity with its own rhythms, its own rules, and its own secrets. We venture into it with our maps and our gear and our confidence, believing we are explorers. But sometimes we are merely visitors in a cathedral so vast and ancient that our minds cannot fully comprehend it. The Dyatlov Pass Incident reminds us of our own fragility, not just physically, but perceptually. Our reality is built on what we can see, touch, and explain. But what happens when we encounter something that defies all that? We break, we run, we become a story for others to ponder. Tonight, as you lie in your warm bed, let your thoughts wander to those snowy peaks. Think not just of the fear, but of the camaraderie that brought those 9 souls together. Think of their courage to venture into the unknown, a courage that ultimately cost them everything. there is a profound respect owed to them, not as victims of a spooky tale, but as adventurers who pushed the boundary of human experience and encountered the void that lies beyond. The wind on the mountain of the dead still howls the same tune. The cedar tree still stands, and if you listen closely to the silence between the notes of this music, you might hear the faintest echo of their story, a story that has now become part of the landscape itself. A story of winter, of dreams, and of the beautiful, terrifying mystery that lies at the heart of the wild. So let us leave them there, in the place where their journey ended. Let the snow cover them gently. Let the stars keep their watch. And let us carry with us the understanding that some paths are meant to be walked only in stories, from the safety of our own hearts. Thank you for listening. This has been Wilderness Dreams. May your own dreams be peaceful. And may your journeys, wherever they take you, always lead you safely home.